Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here at the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you this morning with it's a combination of book haul, mail haul. It's just a whole bunch of books that have come into the Ruttenberg Library that I need to show you. I need to get them filmed so that I could start putting things away, because my desk over by the window over there is really starting to get a little crowded. And I know my wife she's been very patient with me, but patience only goes so far. So I do need to get these, I need to show them to you. Now, I'm going to start off with this first video here is going to be nothing but fiction books. The nonfiction will be in, I'll probably do 2 more videos and they'll be nonfiction videos, but this is going to be all fiction, and I do have quite a few here. So I'm going to go relatively quick. I'm probably not going to read all of the things on the back cover. The blurbs on the back cover. I'm not going to read all of those because this video would be an hour long, and nobody wants that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on these. Now, these first 2 I have actually showed in other videos, but I have not officially showed them in a book haul. So they are Agatha Christie books. And then in addition to these, I have 3 more sitting at the bookstore here in town. I just got to go get them. And I ran out of time yesterday, or time got away from me, and I didn't get a chance to go get them. So I'll probably have to get those later this week. But I have 3 more Agatha Christie's that I have ordered. But the first one is And Then There Were None. This is the classic Christie. This is the one that most people fall back on, and they say it is one of the top Agatha Christie books. Now, I had a mass market version of this that it was basically falling apart. It was kind of a cruddy example of one, so I bought one for myself. I love this copy. This is the book that will, for the beginning of March every year, I will now read this book. So I'm very happy to have that in my collection. The other Christie book, which I've already talked about, I've already read this one. I loved this story. It's a Tommy and Tuppence mystery. It's the very first one of their mysteries, actually, in that series that Agatha Christie wrote, and that is The Secret Adversary. And this was a wonderful book. I'm not going to give you a description. If you look at my last Friday reads, I talked about this. Loved the book. Had kind of a quick start to the setting, and maybe a little bit unbelievable start, just because you don't just jump into spy work. That's something you got to be trained for. But once that was over, I did enjoy the way that the story went, and I did not guess the bad guy, but that's all right. Can't get them all, right? So the next book that I picked up, now this is one I have read, but it was a long time ago. And I'll be honest, I might have another copy of this, but this was a nice copy, and it only cost me 98 cents. And so I couldn't let this one get away. We have a new, in St. Joe, I say new, it's new to me because I didn't even realize it was there, but a Thrift World came, and they have a huge selection of books in there, several different cases worth that you can dig through, and there's a lot of good stuff. I picked up several when we were there I think it was last weekend. But this is John Knowles' A Separate Peace. Now, again, a war novel. This will probably be a really good one. I think I've mentioned this before, a good one to read during BookTube at war. I think somebody else even mentioned this, so I might get to looking at those videos a little bit closer and see if anybody is wanting to read this one. This one, real fast, I will read the back of this one. It's set at a boys' boarding school in New England during the early years of World War II. A Separate Peace is a harrowing and luminous parable of the dark side of adolescence. Jean is a lonely, introverted intellectual. Phineas is a handsome, taunting, daredevil athlete. What happens between the 2 friends one summer, like the war itself, banishes the innocence of these boys in their world. A bestseller for more than 30 years, A Separate Peace is John Knowles' crowning achievement and an indisputed American classic. And like I said, I know I've read this one. It's been a long time since I've read it. I've actually probably read it a couple different times, and I've always enjoyed it. It's originally a 1959 copy, and this book was printed in 2003, if I'm reading this correctly, 2003, and it's from Scribner. So, yeah, and maybe I should mention, let me go backwards here real fast. This Agatha Christie is from Vintage, and they have a whole line of Agatha Christie's with these awesome covers. Highly recommend them. They got a new one coming out at the beginning of next year in 2024 that I'm looking forward to getting. But I'm going to wait on that one because I want this classic cover. It's absolutely beautiful. But these are from Vintage, and they have a handful of them, maybe eight or 10 of them, something like that. And then this other one was from William Moreau. And they have a whole line of them as well. Yeah. So, the next one that I found, and where did I find this one? This one, I can't remember if this was at Books Revisited or if this was at the Jesse James Outlet Mall. I'm not sure. I cannot remember. But it is a Longmire mystery by Craig Johnson. It's Dry Bones. And I'll be honest, I've read a handful of these, and I need to go back and see if I've read this one. I can't remember. I know I don't own it, but our local library has the whole collection up to this point, and I can't remember if I got to this one or not. I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to go back and look at that. And if not, I'm definitely going to be reading this one this summer because I love the Longmire mysteries. So the next one is, I got this one at Books Revisited, and I didn't realize it was a book. I know the movie very well. I've seen the old and new version of True Grit, and this is by Charles Portis. I didn't realize it was a book, and so I was happy to pick this up. I think it was like $3. I'm not going to read the back cover because I think just about everybody's familiar with True Grit. It's a pretty famous Western movie. It's got John Wayne in the old one, and then the new one is, what is his name? I won't remember it right off the top of my head. I need to look it up. But yeah, and this is from Overlook Press out of New York, and this was published. The book was originally a 1968 book, but this was a 2004 publishing. And so I was very happy because this is, if you guys don't remember, coming right up is June on the Range. That is right around the corner. And in this book haul, I have picked up a handful of Westerns that I am going to tackle in the month of June. That'll be my first month with no school, so I'll have plenty of reading time. I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to read that. Like I said, I'm going to read that during the month of June. The next one is one of the most hated books that I have ever read. I despise this book. I did not like this book, but I found a copy. There were actually 3 copies, and it's almost brand new condition. It was it was from the Rolling Hills Library. It's got a little sticker I got to get off of it, but they're all The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and they were all in like brand new condition. This is like a perfect paperback. The pages are slightly yellowed, but it's not like terrible. But the cover and everything is in shape, just like you would find at a bookstore buying it brand new. And this is from Little Brown and Company out of New York, and it is, let's see, 2001 was when this one was printed, 2001. And the reason, even though I despised this book, the reason that I bought it is I want to give it a second chance. Maybe I'm missing something. And when I made my video on this quite a while back when I read it, I did realize that it is a like 'em or hate 'em book. And I think I found more people that didn't like it than what did like it. And maybe I'm off on my survey. Maybe I need to put up a survey on my channel. I've never done that before. That would be interesting just to see. It might be something I think about. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. I found that it was a like 'em or hate 'em type book. And like I said, I found I think more people that disliked this book had the same opinion as me than liked it. But how is it an American classic? Or how is this a classic? Is it American or is it English? I can't even remember. Well, anyway, I'm not going to sit and look while we're on camera, but how is it a classic? And I just had this feeling like maybe I'm missing something. So I'm going to try that book again, and I'll have it on the shelf. Now, the next two books I found at Thrift World for $1.98 because they're hardbacks and they are mysteries. This is by Elliot Roosevelt, A Royal Murder, an Eleanor Roosevelt mystery. And so thought that was kind of a nice little copy. They're thin volumes. It's in really good shape. I mean, there's a couple of dog-eared corners here. And I don't think that's from reading. I think that's just because books got smashed. So that's pretty easy fix. There, fixed. But these books are in really good shape. They're like brand new shape. It's a 1994 book, and it is from St. Martin's Press out of New York. And Elliot Roosevelt had a lot of books that he wrote, and so looking forward to that. The other Elliot Roosevelt book, it's an Eleanor Roosevelt mystery, is Murder at the Palace. Now this one's got, it's a former library copy, you can tell. It's got the plastic covering and it's got the call number and everything, but it's still in pretty decent shape. It's got a lot of reads left. And this one, Murder at the Palace, St. Martin's Press, again a hardback. It's 1988 book. So I was happy to add those to my collection, a couple of nice mysteries. This one was super exciting. I got this at Thrift World also. I about screamed out loud when I saw this because it is in really good shape. Look at the thing there. Maybe a slight little divot in the cover there. It's been read, you can tell, but look at the binding. The binding is good, or the spine is good, and I'm just super excited because I've been reading Ken Follett, and so we got A Column of Fire, and this is from the Pillars of the Earth series. And so now I've got two books in the Pillars of the Earth series. I think it's book 2 and 3. I need to look at the order and make sure of that. But I don't have the Pillars of the Earth. I think that's the first one in the series, right? So I don't have that one. So I have been on the lookout for that one for quite a while, and I haven't found it yet. But I found this one, super excited to add it to my Ken Follett collection. As soon as I find that first one, I'm going to read this series because everybody has nothing but good stuff to say. And again, it was only $1.98, $2, and so you can't beat that. All right, so the next, let's see, next 7 books are all mass markets. And so I'll go through again pretty quickly on these. And these were, let's see, 3 of them were $1.98. And I think one of them was free, $2, a $2, and then I think this one was like $1.50, this other one. So they're all relatively cheap. So the first one is a P.D. James book. I have never, ever read P.D. James. And I've heard everybody talk about P.D. James on BookTube. I think Peg over at the History Shelf, I think, is a big fan of P.D. James, if I remember right. And I think Todd at Todd's Bursting Bookcase was also a big fan of this author. But this is Death Comes to Pemberley. And so pretty excited. Again, 98 cents. You can't beat that. It is, let's see, Faber Faber, and it is a 2012 book. Now, it's got some of the P.D. James's other, on the front inside cover there on the flap, the other books that has been written. But I'm really excited about this, and not familiar with the author other than I've heard P.D. James talked about, and really good things said. So looking forward to this. It says the year is 1803. Darcy and Elizabeth have been married for 6 years, and the orderly world of Pemberley seems unassailable. But all this is threatened when, on the eve of the annual ball, a chaise appears, rocking down the path from Pemberley's wild woodland as it pulls up. Lydia Wickham Elizabeth's younger, unreliable sister stumbles out screaming that her husband has been murdered. And so, like I said, really looking forward to this. I've heard very, very good things, and I knew I probably just made that mistake. If I referred to P.D. James as a male earlier, she is a female. That was a slip up. But anyway, again, like I said, I'm not real familiar with her works, and so if I did that earlier when I started talking about that, I do apologize. Anyway, next one you are very, very familiar with. Matter of fact, let's just get them all in a row, because I got 4 of these bad boys. No, I take that back. Let's do this one first. This was the freebie I found, and the only reason I picked it up was it was a mystery, and I wanted to give it a try. I'm willing to give just about any mystery a try. This is by Joan Hess, the Murder at Mimosa Inn. The Murder at the Mimosa Inn. Kind of a funny title, but kind of a neat little cover. It's a Claire Malloy mystery, so you guys tell me, are these any good? I'm not familiar with them. Never read this author. This is from St. Martin's Paperbacks, and it is a 1986 book. Let's see. It says, who could resist the mock murder weekend at the charming Mimosa Inn? Certainly not bookstore owner and amateur sleuth Claire Malloy, who decides to bring her petulant daughter Karen along for some detecting. As the guests settle in for a weekend of sleuthing, dressed as their favorite literary detectives, many a Miss Marple and Hercule Poirot stand poised to solve a murder, but fiction becomes alarmingly real, as the mock murder victim isn't just playing dead, he's really been bashed to death. More determined than ever to find the killer, Claire combs the grounds of the lovely inn for this most uninvited guest. So, sounds like it's going to be fun. Again, I found it at my local free library box, you give one, take one library box, free little library. So I was excited to see that. Here is an author that needs no introduction, Louis Lamour. And I got Dark Canyon. This was 98 cents. They had a whole shopping cart full of paperbacks just like this, of just different, a lot of them Westerns, just different genres. They're all 98 cents. And they're all literally, look at this, brand new condition. Got all the shine, no dents or divots or anything like that, sharp corners. They're all pretty much brand new books. I think they were just things that couldn't get sold. And so they bought them, and now they're selling them for 98 cents. And I am very, very happy to pick that up. I've read some Louis L'Amour, just a few, not very many. He wrote, I don't know how many, a bunch. I have not read this one, so I was very excited. That's another June on the Range book. Here's another Louis L'Amour. It's at the Sackett's. Ride the River. Again, 98 cents. Again, in brand new condition. So this one, let's see. And these are this one is from Bantam Books out of New York, 2015 book. Very happy to have that. It's going to be a good one. Louis L'Amour, The Empty Land. Really cool cover. You can see I love the artwork on these. It's wonderful. So you got nice artwork. You've got a Bantam Books. This one is from 1969. And again, these are all super skinny, quick, easy afternoon or 2 afternoon reads, depending on how much time you got. Here's another Louis L'Amour that I picked up, The Rider of Lost Creek. Another cool cover. See the cowboys, or not cowboys, but, riflemen on the horseback. Really cool cover. Excited about that one. And then, BookTube. Probably this is the shortest book haul I've ever done with this many books time-wise. So, again, I had to go through them fast. But here's the last one. This is Zane Grey's Riders of the Purple Sage. A absolute classic that everybody's read but me. But this June, I'm going to fix that. And so very happy to add this paperback in. And Zane Grey, another classic of American literature for the for the genre of Westerns. But this is, the copyright looks like was 1912. So this is an older one. It's a little bit thicker for a, it's a little over 300 pages for a Western, but I'm very happy to read this, pick this up and read it. It's in really great condition. I mean, it's got some white lines there where it's been, where the creases are, but the spine's in good shape, and it's got a few more reads, and so I'm happy to partake in that. So, BookTube, this has been my fiction book haul. I would love for you to tell me what you think. I thought I did pretty good because I didn't spend a whole lot of money. It was a pretty cheap book haul. I'll show you our stacks of books here real fast. Let me get the big stack here. Holy moly. All right, let's get the big stack. You tell me how you think I did. So there you are, BookTube. Love to hear your comments or read your comments down in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all new subscribers. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you made it this far, that's awesome. Thank you very much. So until next time, I'll have, like I said, a couple more book hauls, and they'll be nonfiction book hauls. But until next time, happy reading.